with Heather Smith Outdoors. This is the live. Obviously, we're going to be recording for the show for the Hunt channel, but we're here at the Three Angels Ranch. I've got Eric Hunt with me. Eric, you're the owner of this amazing whitetail trophy ranch, and they have access that are beautiful that I saw yesterday and today. Thank you for having us out here today.
Welcome.
Yeah, so you guys have been here how long?
This is our third year.
Third year. Yeah, and you guys have, we saw the whitetail yesterday. There was the triplets out there.
Yeah, we got a lot of little babies.
There's babies running around, triplets we saw. And then I've got Brian with me. Brian is our gun expert. So Brian, today we're going to explain to everybody. You brought a really good selection, actually. Let me go to that too.
Yeah.
He brought a huge selection of guns today. And so what we're going to do is, with the backdrop here, because it's just so gorgeous, we've got the littles with us here today too, so they're going to be shooting. I was hoping your granddaughter was going to be able to shoot with us today. And we're going to go through, with everything going on right now in society, a lot of people are wanting to purchase guns. We went this morning, prime example, you went to go get 44 mag ammo this morning, and you couldn't get it.
All of it was hard to find, but that especially,
yeah. And then we went to the pawn shop, or you went to the pawn shop, and you were able to get it, and they only sold in one box. There was 8 boxes there. So he was being conservative with the ammo, but it's very difficult. Even at a gunsmith, you said there was one gun left.
Yeah.
And it was not really one you would use for home protection.
No, it was an odd caliber and an odd model and make.
Right. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the different handguns. Do you want to describe to everybody what you brought today?
I could describe a few. We have a Desert Eagle that's a 44 caliber. We have a Smith & Wesson 500. I'm not sure how much shooting we're going to do with that one because it's pretty big and it kicks pretty hard. So I have a Glock 40. I have a Kimber 10 millimeter. I have a Colt 45 that I brought. I brought a 22 for the littles to try. I have a 12 gauge Benelli. It's like an M1 type.
That's my favorite.
So yeah, I have quite a few.
And I brought my Glock 9mm. So with that being said, we're going to go through that. We're also going to go through the different handguns, what the differences are between each one of them, so you can see. We're also going to show the differences in ammo. We're going to put out some watermelons today, and we're going to show this RIP ammo, which is literally going to just decimate these watermelons. So you can see the difference, because your ammo, it's not just the gun, it's also what you're using inside of that weapon for you, so you can have the best home defense, or you can feel the safest with everything going on. Hey guys, I'm here with Brian, and we're going to go over the safety of guns. Just as important as it is of having knowledge of guns and what you're shooting and what your target is, the safety aspect is actually the most important aspect of owning a firearm or interacting with firearms. So we have multiple handguns laid out here today, as well as we have a 12 gauge Benelli shotgun, and we also have a 22 Kimber, right? No, this is a 22.
It's 22 caliber, yeah.
Yeah, 22 caliber. Okay, so now you'll see all the handguns that we have out, which we're going to go over later. And Brian's going to go through a couple of touch points right now, which we're going to talk about and he's going to get into what is the most important part of gun safety and things that people sometimes forget but need to remember.
So the first thing that we need to remember is just always treat every firearm as if it was loaded. That's just a general rule, and it's best to always do that first and foremost. That comes with just never pointing a weapon at something that you don't intend to shoot. They call it lasering or flagging. That has to do with more of imagining a laser coming out of your barrel of your gun, and anything it touches, it burns. That's kind of how they do that, to kind of keep you at the forefront of the safety aspect of what comes out of the barrel and how dangerous it can be. And never pointing a gun at anything you're not willing to kill and destroy, because they're made to put holes in things, and that's exactly what will happen. The second thing is just keeping your fingers straight and off the trigger until your sights are on your target. They also call that indexing. When you want to do that until you've made the conscious decision to fire, and then you can go ahead and put your finger on the trigger and get ready to do so. Another thing is just being aware of your foreground, what's between you and the target. Specifically, make sure that everyone around you and everything around you is safe to shoot past, whether it's a tree or a big rock or something that you don't intend to hit, because you very well possibly could with a recoil or something of that nature. The other thing is just what's behind it, your background, not just your foreground. You get into worrying about ricocheting and things that is very important too, that could possibly hurt you just as well. Ricochet bullet can be very dangerous. And two, with bullets, they travel quite some distance, some 2 or 3 miles, depending on the gun and what have you. So that's another thing that's pretty important to remember on that. A couple of other things just in general is, I recommend professional training. I highly recommend that. Just seeking out a reputable, qualified instructor to teach you, especially if you decide to carry one, if you have a concealed handgun license, or if you carry one regularly, in whatever manner you choose. But to me, that's really important. Also is getting training on how to treat a wound. If you own a potentially life-taking piece of equipment, you need to have life-saving equipment as well, and training in that. Good guys, bad guys, however you want to look at it. If the day comes that I have to get in a shooting and I have a partner with me, or a friend, or a buddy, or anything, I want to know that they could save me if something was to happen, just like I would be wanting to know that I could save them as well. So to me, that's pretty important, and I think that's imperative in that. The other thing is, the mechanical safety on a firearm, that should just be the third layer of your safety. The first is your brain, just making sure you're paying attention and staying engaged to what you're doing. The second is your trigger finger discipline, like we talked about, indexing, and only putting your finger on the trigger when you're ready. The third layer is whatever safety mechanism is built into the firearm, whether it's the manual that comes with the firearm or something mechanical that comes with the firearm. All firearms are different when it comes to the mechanical. Some do have safeties. Some, they're different kinds where just you simply shooting it, you're going to forego a safety and engage it. So that's pretty important too. The last thing that I was going to touch on, or I'd like to touch on, is just, never allow an unauthorized person to have access to a readily dischargeable firearm, regardless of their age, but especially not anyone not younger than 18. It's never a good idea unless they've got the proper training. So we wanted to go through that first before we get into the more fun stuff, just making sure that we're safe.
Before we can blow anything up. So it's obviously, those are the important things. And then there's a couple of things, obviously, in addition to your gun safety, that are important. The eye protection, make sure that you're wearing goggles. Ear protection, make sure you've got earplugs or earmuffs, whatever's going to do to protect your ears. He has right here an example of some eye goggles right here. They come in different colors depending on the clarity, depending on the time of the day. So you can take a look at that. That's for you to look into and take a look at. And then the other thing I noticed, and I learned the hard way, is never go to the gun range with open-toed shoes, because flip-flops will become fire-flops really quick if you've got that hot brass coming down. So closed-toed shoes it is, just for the protection of your feet when you're unloading and the brass is falling.
Okay, so the first gun that we're going to shoot today is going to be the Marlin 22. It's a semi-automatic version of the Marlin. We're going to load in through the sleeve here, and I believe it holds 16. I'm not specifically sure, but we'll tell you before the day's up.
Okay.
The second one is the Benelli. The Benelli, they have different versions of it. This is the M1 version, where we can switch it from pump to auto with the switch. It's made for less than lethal rounds if that's what you so choose to use it for, or you can use it as an auto with a regular round.
Okay.
The next thing is our Glock. They make all versions of that, obviously. This is the 37 model, and this is also the 45 GAP. So 45 makes an ACP and a GAP. Glock come out with a GAP because the round is a little shorter. For GAP purposes, it was something new that they wanted to try. It's been a good gun since I've owned it. I haven't had any problems with it. The ammunition is a little harder to find than ACP because it's not as popular, but it's been a good weapon so far.
So what's the difference between GAP and SAP?
So the ACP is just a little bigger, and there's several small differences. The GAP round is a little squattier, but it's the same diameter.
Okay.
So there's not a real big difference. It's still a 45 round.
But we're going to see the impact difference out there.
Correct.
Okay. And we're going to use that, yeah.
So the next thing is we have a Colt here. It's the government model. They make these in all colors, all designs. I actually have a black one exactly like it. This is the ACP version of the 45.
Okay.
And we're going to put that up against the ACP and or the GAP to kind of see the difference.
Okay.
The next one we have is a pretty popular gun. Everybody knows the name. It's Desert Eagle. This is the 44. They make several calibers. They make it 357, 41, 50. It's a big gun. The 50 caliber is a real big gun to shoot. So I went on and done the 44. I've had the 50 and I just ended up with the 44 instead. I liked it better.
Okay.
So then we have the 31. It's the 357 model, 357 SIG. But what I did, they're interchangeable. It's actually a 40 because the only difference between the 357 and the 40 is the bullet is neck down to the 357 caliber. But I wanted the 40 caliber, and so I bought the 31 and then just switched the barrel, and the magazines are all the same. So this is a 40 caliber, despite what it says here. It's just been interchanged. The next one is the Glock 43. That's just kind of my everydayer.
We have the same gun.
Right.
You have the Louis version.
That's right. So
I need that one.
I've done a little bit of work on the slide, or someone done it for me on the slide. We've done some work to it and done a little design. You can get any design, but this is the 43. It's a 9mm. It's a good it's a good piece to carry when you don't need anything real heavy. Right,
and that's my personal protection go-to, which you'll see over there. Like that's mine right over there. So yeah.
So the next one we have is this 500. It's a 50 caliber. It's one of the biggest handguns in the world.
Yeah.
And it being a short barrel, that just means it kicks harder, honestly. So, but it's fun to see what kind of damage you can do if that's what you're interested in today, and we're gonna do just that. But it kicks hard, and we're probably not gonna shoot a whole lot of rounds through that, but we'll do a few just for viewing purposes. The next thing is a Kimber. It's a 1911 style, much like the Colt. It's the same style, it's just a different caliber. We have a 10mm in this one. I wanted something a little different when I got this one, so we went 10mm. And we'll see ballistics and stuff somewhat to what it does compared to the 9mm and the other calibers that we have today.
Good. And then we've got my Glock over here, which you've already explained is the same thing, and which is just the go-to, good safety, good to carry for personal protection, like when you're going on road trips, especially with everything going on right now. It doesn't have a huge kickback on it, so I love it. So it's really
recoil's small, and it's small, so it works.
Then you'll see over here we've got earplugs set up. He's got different ones set up for the littles, and then we also have different goggles to wear so we can protect our. There we go. So much going on. Wow. Wow.
Expansion of that round, it went in here, and you can see where it expanded and took out a big chunk of that watermelon.
Wow. And then it went all the way across the water, which was neat. And now what kind of ammo was that?
9mm, and that was the RIP ammo. Get back on target. Good shot.
So, wow. Now, let me see. Okay, now this time, I love it. Okay, so this time, now this is where we're using that 40 cal RIP ammo that we were showing earlier, right? And it just decimated that watermelon. Goodness.
Here's the entrance hole.
Oh, wow.
And here's the exit.
Oof.
Expanded quite a bit.
Took it out. Thank you. That really does some damage, doesn't it?
Okay, so we're going to be shooting the Kimber 10mm. We're going to be shooting Hydra shock bullets through this one, just to kind of see what it does. It's got a steel rod through the middle of them. That's just what HydroShock's known for. So that's going to be our next one.
Okay. Okay, that worked. That's using the Kimber with HydroShock. Let's see that HydroShock.
Look, come here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
That definitely destroyed the watermelon. Okay.
The next thing we're going to do is the Desert Eagle that we had showed y'all earlier. It is a 44 caliber. We are shooting hollow points through it. The slide is so big and heavy. It's one of the only pistols that's gas chambered like a rifle, because it takes so much to get this slide back. If you give it any kind of cushion, the gun, it keeps it stovepipes and keeps it from ejecting the round or putting another one in. See, with a gun this big, you have to really hold it tight and not give it any kind of leverage. So
Oh boy.
that's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Desert Eagle we demonstrated, and that's the 44 that we shot. It pretty much demolished the watermelon. The next thing we're going to go for is the Smith & Wesson 500. It's the 50 caliber that we had spoken about. So the 44 and the 50, you can see the difference. So it's quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And that's the comparison in the two. So we're going to see what this 50 will do.
I mean, look at the girth and just the size of where the bullet is going in. It's a massive gun.
That cylinder's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the Desert Eagle 44 bullets look very small.
Okay. Yeah, now I am.
You ready?
Yeah. There's nothing left.
That little bitty piece right there. I'm not good for this one.
Oh my gosh.
It's ready to shoot. So whenever you're ready to aim and shoot. Good shot. You hit
Good
it.
shot, Ella.
Do it again.
Good shot, Ella.
Do it again.
Good shot, Ella. Yes!
Come on, Andy, okay.
Woo! Look at you go, girl. Yes!
Nothing?
Oh my goodness!
Get back on target. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Look.
You are an amazing shot.
Man, that was really good.
Hey guys, so we are done with our adventure today and trying all of these amazing weapons out, and I learned a lot today. I think everyone else is going to have an opportunity to learn today, and we really got to see what the damage was with a lot of that ammo with the different watermelons.
Yes, we did. We did the HydroShock. We did different calibers. We did from 50 down to 9mm, and y'all got to see kind of the way that they spread and how they work.
And we really saw that rip ammo. What I noticed is that when it hit that, you know, you see the entry wound coming in from the watermelon, and then you see the back, and it just literally, I guess pun intended, ripped out the entire insides of the watermelon with it. And then the Desert Eagle, which you know, it is a very big gun, and it's a 44, so I was very intimidated to use it. And one shot, and it annihilated.
It did. The watermelon was done. We had to go to the next one.
Yeah.
And then we went to the 50 caliber, the 500 Smith & Wesson, and it's big. Even if you've been shooting guns a long time, it kicks hard and it booms loud. You can feel it, not just hear it.
I could feel it in my chest after he fired it.
But it was fun. It's fun, and we learned a lot today. We all did, including myself. Every time you go, you don't never know what you might pick up, but you pick up something every time.
And the littles, and Ella did amazing.
She did.
She had that 22, and she didn't miss. So she did. I was really, really impressed with her today. And another thing that you could take away from this, even from learning from the Benelli, as you went through and you shot watermelon after watermelon after watermelon, that's a great home defense weapon. A shotgun is always a really good way to use for your home, because you can just shoot at the door, right? That's a great.
And too, the good thing about a shotgun, you have to remember with the different rounds that you can shoot, the pellets, they spread, so they don't penetrate a whole lot as far as what's behind you. If you have an intruder or something of that sort, a threat that you have to go for, then you don't have to worry about the kids in the next room and all that. With the rifle, you have to really be careful, and most pistols, you have to really be careful with that and what's behind it, because it could possibly penetrate through your target. And
we're going to see that traveling, as we saw with, which one was it that I believe it was the Desert Eagle. When I shot it, we saw it go doom, 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 continuously across the water. And like you're saying, it's full stop. Once it hits the shotgun, you're right there, because you kind of blow your load. Right. I mean, for lack of that's really, never mind. So, and then we did really well with, but the Glock did very well. The Glock is a really good weapon to use for personal safety. My personal choice.
My personal choice.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's a very good gun to keep on you. He keeps his on.
We can do a. I want to show y'all real quick just one of the main reasons that I'm one of the Glock is my go-to. I have plenty different guns, but the thing about a Glock is, to break it down is so simple. You just, after you disengage the trigger, you just pull down on the. You have to pull back just a little bit on the slide. When you do, you pull this down and the slide comes right off. You clean this part. This is so easy. I mean, in 10 seconds you have a gun that's pulled apart and ready to clean. And then to put back, I mean, you know, we're live and I can show you how fast it goes back together. It takes nothing. You have to put it back on its tracks and it's ready to shoot again. Just that simple. It's that easy. And
when he brought it apart, there, right where you saw that spring that was in there, there's actually like a silver piece that's inside of it. It's got mercury.
The guide rod. Yep.
Yeah, and it's got the mercury in there, and actually that helps with the recoil.
Yeah, so you can buy it's an aftermarket piece. Glock doesn't put it on their factory weapons, but it's an aftermarket piece and it's mercury filled. And when you shake it, you can feel it inside, and it absorbs the recoil, and it really helps. I use that on my 40 just because that's what I shoot with the most when I'm target practicing. And I like to take as much of that recoil as I can.
So good. I hope you learned some stuff today. I know we did. And we'll see you guys next time. Heather Smith with Heather Smith Outdoors. And thank you for watching.